In this video, we created Sonic Haven, transforming Brookhaven into a Sonic stage, added a giant Shin Sonic, and even constructed Dr. Eggman's secret lab. So basically, after watching our trailer, we're ready to completely modify Brookhaven and add everything Sonic related here to recreate the trailer from scratch. The first thing I'm going to do will basically be to search for Sonic here to see the items available to us. And as you can see, there's quite a bit here because Sonic is quite famous in Brookhaven. Well then, I think the first thing we can do here is try to change the Brookhaven sky to put the Sonic sky, which in this case has this one that we can use, and it's really weird, actually. It looks like a sea from the old Sonic game, so I don't know if it'll match very well. There are also other skies here that we can use, which is basically the Sonic sky, which is exactly the same as the one we just used, and also this one from Sonic Lost World, which is a little prettier, but I'm not sure if I liked it. What if we put a more realistic sky? Dude, I think it's better to search for a beautiful sky here. Oh, this one is very beautiful. Dude, you know, it looks a lot like a real sky. Well, now with the sky successfully placed, we're going to set up a different lobby here to match more with Sonic. Basically, the first thing I'm going to do here is to delete the Brookhaven fountain because it doesn't really fit in our setting, so I can just remove it here. And in place of the fountain, I'm basically going to put a golden Sonic statue because it's very beautiful and will look really cool here in our Sonic Raven. Right here with Sonic right in the middle, I just have to make some adjustments like removing this water here that no longer fits our lobby. Oh, someone told me to place Sonic rings. I think it's a good idea. I'll put the rings in place of these black posts that are here in the lobby because I don't think it makes much sense to have them here. So basically, I found this ring here that matches quite well, but we have to make it a bit larger to make it look more beautiful. So let's enlarge it exactly the same on both sides here to make it look really cool. I think it ended up looking a bit strange, but that's okay. And now, guys, basically, I'm going to place it where our little posts are so we can get an idea of where it is. I'll duplicate this thing here to make it exactly on the other side. Then, we're going to select all these black posts here in the lobby so we can delete them all together. And now, we duplicate these rings here so we can place them in all the spots where we remove the posts. So I'm going to place them basically this way. It's going to look very nice. But now that we've placed these rings here, I want to basically replace these plants because they don't match with our Sonic themed Brookhaven. I think a cool thing we could put here is basically this Sonic spring, which is very cool. So I can simply place it right where the plant is here. And now that it's perfectly in place, we can delete this plant like this. It's going to look damn cool. I got everything wrapped up, and now that it's well aligned here, we can just delete this little plant pot, and it will look very nice. So basically, now we have our lobby almost ready, right? We just have to fix this floor because it is quite ugly, right? And basically, to fix this floor, I will ungroup it here so we can have several of these loose squares here. We can place them in various types, click several separately, and basically, for the lobby to really match with our Sonic, I will select all these green squares that are here in the lobby and change their material to this Sonic grass, which is striped and pretty. And now, I've selected all the other little squares that were left here, and I'm going to apply the same grass texture, but this time a bit lighter to make it look really nice. But man, I think our lobby is turning out quite nice, but we need to change everything else here in Brookhaven. Since the lobby alone won't be enough, while we're here, I'll also change these trees because the Brookhaven trees don't match the Sonic theme. So, I'm going to delete them like this and place these palm trees here, which are very common in Sonic game. Clearly, I'll have to increase their size to make them look cool. So hang on, it looked weird. I'll increase the size of this thing. We just need to place it right in the middle now and also duplicate it to place on the other side. But to make it different, I'll tilt it a bit to make it look like a real tree. You know, palm trees aren't always straight. Okay, now I want to do something that will completely modify our map. Essentially, I'm going to change the texture of all the areas in Brookhaven to have a grass texture exactly like our lobby. But to avoid making it look ugly the way it is, I'll basically paint it a lighter color, like white, to make it look really cute, resembling real grass. I can also remove all this paint that's on the street to not make it look so strange, right? But of course, to make it beautiful, I will have to do this across the entire Brookhaven map, removing all the paints from all the roads that are here.
One eternity later.
Well, as you can see, I changed all the moons of Bram to look more like the streets of Sonic. Well, someone here on the live gave me the idea to put the Sonic loop, so I'm going to place exactly this one, which is very similar to the loops from the games. But to make it a bit better, I'm going to rotate it exactly this way and I'm going to increase its size, like colossal, so that it becomes gigantic. I'm not sure if we'll be able to run inside this thing here, but at least it will look beautiful. And now with our loop here, I'm basically going to change the texture here on the ground to match it more. So let's put exactly the grass texture and set it in white color to make it look really cute, like the mini island that I want to place here, which you can see is very similar to the Sonic games themselves. And in this case, I'm going to place this island in place of the Brookhaven slide. I will also remove the other items around here so they don't get in the way. And now we just need to significantly increase the size of this structure here to make it look really nice. Additionally, I will lower it into the ground so it doesn't look like a pool anymore but becomes part of an actual island. So I think in this position here it's going to look fantastic. And of course, I'm also going to paint around the former pool area to make it look like real ground. So we'll apply the white grass texture here to beautify it. To make it more natural, I will also paint the bottom of the former pool green to make it appear more like part of nature and not a pool. So I've already looked up some motorcycles that could potentially be the vehicle Shadow would use. The first bike we're going to try is this one here. It's a black motorcycle and really fits with Shadow, even though the colors here are orange, not red. I'm going to place this Shadow motorcycle right at the police station in Brookhaven, which we're going to modify shortly. Also, they told us to replace Brookhaven's helicopter with the one that Tails uses. Basically, I'll choose this old helicopter here from Brookhaven, and I'm going to place Tails' helicopter in place of that old Brookhaven helicopter. We'll just face it forward to make it look really nice and slightly enlarge it so we can see it well from afar. While we're talking about vehicles, I'm also going to place this Eggman cart here because it's super cool, and I hope it works so we can fly around Brookhaven. So I'm going to park it right next to Shadow's motorcycle, but now we have to make sure it's perfectly aligned because it's all crooked. Man, let's adjust it here to make it look really cool. Essentially, the Brookhaven police station is turning into a base full of cars. I will change the name of the police station to Sonic Station and also replace this old faded color here with a color more similar to Sonic, which definitely isn't this blue here. Maybe this shade here is a bit closer. Now, we just need to select everything we missed painting to make it look really beautiful. Well, now that we've transformed Brookhaven's police station into the Sonic base, I'm going to basically imprison some of Sonic's enemies here inside the cells. The first prisoner will clearly be Dr. Eggman, whom I'll put in this cell here. So get in there, Eggman. And since Shadow technically had a villain, I'm going to also put him here, imprisoned in the Sonic police station. So get inside, Shadow. Moreover, I'm going to position him lying down, as if he were snoozing in the cell, just like a real prisoner, and it's going to be harder to escape from this place. I'll paint the doors red to look like laser doors, so no one will be able to get through this door at all. Along with the villain's car, I'm going to place that Sonic car that he uses in his racing game. This reminds me that the Sonic movie takes place in Japan, so somehow Brookhaven has to have a somewhat Japanese part. So let's search here for items, and as you can see, there are many interesting Japanese items that we can place in our Brookhaven. The first one I want to put is basically this giant building here. Look at the size of it. Man, it really looks like a Japanese building. It even comes with a little Japanese flag attached to it. Well, since we added a building under construction, I also have to include some buildings that are already completed, like this one here that also closely resembles a Japanese building. So, I'm going to basically place it behind this building to add depth to our city, as if there were many places indeed. And of course, I can duplicate this building a bit and place it in some other random spots to have plenty of constructions in our Brookhaven. Another building here that I also found cool is this one, which is an apartment building and it's quite tall, you know. So, we can place it right here next to this building, but I need to figure out which side is the front because I can't tell right now. Let's rotate it so it sits nicely on its side, and I'll have to reduce its size a bit because it's really very large, so it would be way off the street if I left it too gigantic, you know. And now, let's make some duplicates of this one too, so we have several buildings of our Brookhaven. I'll also make some changes to some small Brookhaven building, like the apartments that have a very Americanized style here in Brookhaven, and replace them with these Japanese apartments. The good thing is that since they are smaller than those apartments, I can even do two here at the same time to have several places for people to live. So, I'm going to remove this old restaurant from Brookhaven here to basically put a ramen restaurant in its place. I thought this was a restaurant, but it's actually just a ramen stall. Ha! Oh, now yes, this here is a real ramen restaurant. Let's just place it exactly where the old one used to be to make it look similar. And of course, let's increase the size of this thing a bit to make it look really nice and to ensure there's some kind of Japanese element here. I'll replace the Brookhaven arch with a Japanese arch, which for those who don't know, is basically this red thing here, which is a feature of Japanese temples, you know. So, let's significantly increase the size of this here to make it quite gigantic. We'll remove the Brookhaven arch and put it right here in its place. Additionally, I will duplicate and place it on the other side as well. Now yes, I think the Japanese items we've placed are sufficient. A cool item that I found to place here in Sonic Raven is basically this Sonic ramp that we can enlarge as much as we want, both sideways and upward, and I'm going to use it here to make a big ramp right in the middle of the street so we can start running and flying here through Brookhaven. So, let's adjust it to match exactly the width of the street like this, and I'll also make the ramp a bit higher here so we can really jump high. But since I think this ramp might actually interfere with our Brookhaven, I'm going to place it somewhere else, and it will basically take the place of this existing ramp in Brookhaven. So, I'm going to delete it like this. Then I'll take this ramp we just created and put it in place of the old one. Let's just give it a twist so it fits right here in the middle, and we'll also align it here with the streets to get the streets just right. One thing I noticed is that when I made this change, it basically left a void because I accidentally deleted all the streets that were here, but this created an opportunity for us to use this ramp as a street as well. So, I'm going to duplicate this ramp here and place it exactly in the missing street area. Then we duplicate this one again so we have a place to climb up there in Brookhaven. And now, to avoid having this empty space here in the middle, I'm basically going to fill it with these grasses that are here on the plots like this. In addition to having no more streets here, we also managed to create a place very similar to Sonic games with lots of grass. Well, now that the road has been successfully repaired, I'm just going to change the color of our grass because I think it's very strange this way. So I'll put the Sonic grass here too. And since I'm already working on this, I'll select all the grass I find here in Brookhaven to put exactly the same Sonic grass. Now that all the grass in Brookhaven has been remodeled to appear like Sonic grass, I'll have to place some more dangerous items here. People in the live stream gave me an idea here to basically place a laboratory where we can put the Sonics of the future, which would be Shin Sonic and also Sonic EXE. So basically, I'll place this structure inside the tunnel in this way that you can see it fits perfectly. Look how cool! Then inside the laboratory, I'm already going to place our Shin Sonic tapes here because my god, he is very big. Man, actually, I had a better idea. I'm going to place the Shin Sonic tapes on top of some building as if he were a monster like Godzilla. So inside the laboratory, I'm basically going to place Sonic XE, which would be this one here with that evil red eye, you know. So I'm going to take our Sonic XE and place it right at the end as if it were completely trapped. I'll just increase his size a bit to make him more powerful, and I believe this iron part here might hold Sonic EXE within his cell, and there, it's perfect. Also, they gave me the idea to place Metal Sonic in the same laboratory since he technically is also an evil experiment, you know. So, I'm going to place Metal Sonic here inside the laboratory as well, but he won't be trapped since he's just a machine and not an evil creature. Now, returning to Shin Sonic, I'm basically going to place a laser beam coming out of his mouth. Of course, this beam needs to be much bigger, so let's significantly increase its size like this. And now we can fit it exactly in his mouth to make it look like he's either blowing or vomiting this laser beam. Place it just right in the middle of his mouth. And now we increase the size of the laser so it looks like he's attacking something. Look how cool! Man, it turned out great and it will appear as if Shin Sonic isn't just sneezing this thing randomly. I'm going to place the yacht from Brookhaven exactly under the beam as if he's attacking the yacht. And since Shin Sonic is hitting the yacht with the laser beam, of course, there will be fire and destruction here. So I'm going to place various spots here catching fire to make it seem like it's really hitting the yacht. I'm also going to place some of this fire on the buildings to make it seem like he's completely destroying any place he touches. Let's just add one more here. Alright, wow, the smoke is intense. More oily. I think I'm going to put one of these strong ones here so we can see that it's really cool. Look at this. Man, it turned out super awesome. Man, look there. Like if we look from here, you can see it's hitting with the laser beam, you know. Oh yeah, man, the Sonic Ring portal, I forgot about that. I'll place it here. I'll take the Sonic Rings and place a Sonic Ring right here in the middle of the street to appear as a portal really big, right? Now I can use this part of the portal here, greatly increase its size so it fits inside our ring. And well, now that we have a portal that enters from one side, we have to make this portal exit from another place. So, I duplicated the Sonic Ring and will place it on top of a large structure, like that building there. I'll place the ring exactly here on top of the building and do exactly the same thing that we did with the ring that's down there. Let's just increase the size of the portal a bit to fit here inside. And there, now we have two connected portals, one that is blue and the other green up top. I hope this portal works because it's written here that it works. Alright, back here in the lobby, I'm basically going to place some Sonic more, like the four main characters, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. And, of course, also a Super Sonic morph so we can become really powerful and face Shin Sonic when needed. Another thing that people in the live stream suggested was to place the Sonic characters up on the mountain, as I always do in my videos. Since I usually place the most important character there, I'm going to put our Shadow up here. Clearly, let's make him much larger so he looks massive. And now I'll position him him partially underground like this to create a mountain with Shadow's face. Well, it looks just like a statue, but as you can see, it turned out really cool, right? Even though I've added morphs for us to transform into the characters, I still need to place these characters in our game. Of course, the first one we'll add is Sonic, so I'm going to place this Sonic NPC here, and he's super cute. He looks like a little Sonic, you know, almost like a baby version. I'll just make him slightly smaller, and he'll stay here inside the police station since it's kind of a base of operations for Sonic in our Brookhaven. But before we keep adding characters, I found this Sonic here that looks amazing. Man, look how cool he is. He's all pixelated. This Sonic will stay on the mountain because he's like a secondary decoration for the map, just like that giant Shadow statue over there. Of course, we can't forget to add Sonic's girlfriend, Amy, who's wearing this outfit I don't recognize very well. There's also the classic Amy, which is this one here. Yeah, this one's much better, I think. So let's delete this other one. This Amy will stay inside the Brookhaven grocery store because she'll be doing some shopping. Speaking of shopping, I'll modify the Brookhaven market to resemble the Sonic Haven market. For instance, the Doritos shelf here, I'll delete all of them and replace them with small Sonic statues, like collectible toys or figurines you can buy while traveling. They need to be a bit smaller to fit on the shelf, so now that they're a good size, I'll duplicate them here to have something Sonic themed for sale. Let's also place some on the lower shelf and duplicate them to make it look just right. Now, for the fruit section in Brookhaven, I'll basically delete all the fruits as well and replace them with this other Sonic figure here. It looks a lot like a toy, but it clearly needs to be smaller too. So let's flatten it like this. Man, it ended up all squished. Haha. Now that it's the right size, I'll also place it on the shelf to sell these Sonic toys. But to avoid having too many repetitive items, I'll also add these monitors for sale, which are basically Sonic upgrade. I can also make them small so they fit on our shelf. Now we just need to rotate them forward so they align properly, and then duplicate them like this to have several monitors for sale in our Sonic shop. I just need to position them carefully to make sure they don't look odd. For the freezer section of the market, I'll basically remove the pizzas that are here because I'm going to replace them with only hot dogs, which are Sonic's favorite food. So let's duplicate this hot dog here to fill up the shelf. Now I'll select all of them and duplicate them all at once. It'll make it much easier to get this done. Well, I think this many hot dogs is enough for Sonic already, but just in case he eats all of them, I'm also going to add a hot dog stand in front of the market so we have more options, you know? And man, these hot dogs are super cheap, only 15 cents. I want one too. Haha. Another thing I'll do is transform this store facade to make it look more like a Sonic store rather than a market. So, I'll grab the Sonic logo, which basically has his name written on it, and now we'll try to fit it here to make it look cool. I'll place it directly on the building surface. I might need to shrink it a bit so it doesn't look too odd. I think this way it looks much better. Let's remove this old sign here and resize this new one to make it slightly larger. Honestly, it's starting to look really good already. Additionally, I'll change the colors of some part, like, for example, this section here. I'll paint it in Sonic's color, and the rest of the store, I'll paint yellow to make it resemble Sonic's rings. You know, because blue and yellow go really well together. Look how cool it's turning out. Inside, though, I still need to change a few things because this place still looks pretty ugly to me. The first thing I'll do is remove the stone texture here because I think it looks really bad. Instead, I'll redo the floor with this wood texture here, which I think will look much cooler for our Brookhaven market. Now, I can paint the floor brown to make it look even more like wood. This black wall here doesn't match at all, so I'll paint it white to blend in with the rest of the market. I'll also add a mascot to our store to grab more attention. It'll be a hot dog, of course, representing Sonic's favorite food. On this other Doritos shelf, I'm going to delete all of them and replace them with miniature Sonic cars, like little toy cars, almost like Hot Wheels. Let's just shrink it a bit more and place it right here on top. Now we'll duplicate it and arrange it just like we did with the other shell. There's also this enemy from Sonic Game, a metallic crab, which I'll turn into a toy. So, let's significantly reduce its size and place it on the shelf, just like the other toy. On this other fruit shelf, I'll also delete all the fruits and replace them with miniatures of Shadow, Knuckles, and Tails to sell as well. So this place looks even more like a Sonic-themed store. Inside, I'm going to add these totems that are very iconic in classic Sonic game. These will be placed in separate spots, like columns for this building. I'll place some in the corners or other location, and I'll put the last one in place of this post near the entrance. Let's position it just like this. To improve the decoration of this place, I'll also delete this door because it doesn't fit here anymore. Now, I'll fix the wall like this, and on this wall, I'll add something famous from Sonic game. Inside this circle, I'll place the Sonic from the movies, which is this furry Sonic here. Let's increase his size a little. Oops, let's make him a bit bigger here, like this. He doesn't have to be exactly inside the circle. He can just be near the wall, so it looks like he's standing there. Another important thing I almost forgot is to add these boosts so they look exactly like the ones in Sonic games. I'll select them all, duplicate them, and place them along the streets. Now we have several boosters to move anywhere in Brookhaven. To make it even more like Sonic games, I'll take these rings and place them in a straight line so we can collect them all. I'll position them right in the middle of the street and then duplicate them to add several rings here in our Brookhaven. Well, I think this amount of rings is more than enough for us to collect in our stage. I'm also going to add a few more scattered items across the map, items that have existed in Sonic games for a long time. But of course, this wouldn't be Sonic Haven if we couldn't increase our speed. That's why I'm going to place several speed pads with different speeds so we can run faster or even slower if we want. To finish our map, I'll add another giant Eggman here, but this time, it's like the robot from the second Sonic movie. So, I'll significantly enlarge him as well because he was massive in that movie. He'll be placed right here next to this building, as if he's almost destroying it. For that reason, I'll even add some smoke coming out from under the building. And with all these changes, our map is ready to be tested. And of course, to test Sonic Haven, I invited some subscribers to check out how our map turned out. You can already see that some of them are using morph like Shoes here, who's dressed as Shadow. Speaking of that, you can see we have several morphs we can use. I want to turn into Sonic, but I lost my face. What's going on? Okay, I guess this morph doesn't work very well. Maybe some of the other ones will work, but honestly, since they're all the same, I'm not sure. And look, man, I turned into the Sonic from the movie. That's awesome, but I'm moving really slowly. He's super sluggish. To fix this, I can use one of these speed pads. Their speed ranges from 1 to, if I'm not mistaken, 100. So, I'll go all the way to the fastest one and grab the 100. See? Look at my speed! I'm a bit faster now. Not as fast as Sonic, but definitely better than before. Another thing I noticed is that Shin's Sonic basically disappeared. It turns out he fell backward here. Man, it's like he fainted, but he really destroyed some parts of the building. You can see pieces falling out here, and some other parts have already fallen into the street and such. So yeah, besides the smoke we placed earlier, he really destroyed a few buildings. Another thing I want to test is these boosters in the middle of the path, you know, so I can run through them like this, and oh no, it completely froze my game, man, and I died! Well, even though this is Sonic's world, this place is really dangerous, huh? You can die at any moment here, but the place that looks super cool is the Sonic Market. Man, look, I placed the sign here, added several decorations inside as you've already seen, and even our hot dog mascot is here dancing around. Another cool thing is that if we go inside, we can actually grab the hot dogs for real. Just walk up to them, and they'll go into your inventory. Then, by clicking the button here, you can even eat your snack. Look how awesome that is. Oh, by the way, this thing actually works. Look, it gives me a little boost, but I don't keep running super fast afterward, you know? Oh, and look, man, there's a Shadow over there who already stole a motorcycle. Look at that. He completely flipped it. Man, there are also these other cars here, like Eggman's car, but as you can see, it's just stuck. It doesn't work. And apparently, Joazinho is struggling to drive Sonic's car too, right? Because it's not moving at all. Wait, no, it is working. Wow, man. Hey, drive it, Joazinho. Let's see. Come on. Push the car. Push the car. Nice. Another interesting thing is inside the police station. As you can see, there are several new morphs here. For example, there's Shadow's morph, and we can click this button to transform into him. Look how cool he looks. And you can probably turn into Dr. Eggman too. But yeah, that morph isn't working either. Another thing I want to test is this ring portal. It looks beautiful, but I need to see if it actually works. If you remember, I placed one of these rings here and the other one up on top of the building. So I'm going to try teleporting. I'll just walk through it. Man, it worked. Hold on. Oh wow, that's awesome. I actually teleported. And look, now I can see the city from above, like I'm Batman or something. But that's it for today, folks. If you like Sonic, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and watch the videos surrounding the screen. Thank you so much to everyone who watched the video until the end, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!